All right, a couple of weeks ago, I don't know if you remember, but I did an episode on chronification, that fancy medical term that everyone's using to describe when your migraine goes from occasional to chronic. And I got so many messages from you guys saying, yes, I needed to hear that. I thought it was permanent. So today I want to tackle another buzzword that's making the round, metabolic migraines. But this one, it's a little bit different because with chronification, the problem was people thought it was permanent. With metabolic migraine, the problem is people think it's a different type of migraine. Like there are hormone migraines over here and stress migraines over there. And oh, yeah, you have the metabolic kind, as if there's completely separate conditions that need completely different treatments. And that's not how this works. So today I want to clear this up, what metabolic migraines actually means. We're going to cover that, why it's not a separate category, and why this label might be making your healing journey more confusing than it needs to be. All right, so first let's talk about what this term actually means. Metabolic migraine refers to migraines that are connected to metabolic dysfunction, meaning your body isn't processing energy correctly. Now, this can show up as blood sugar dysregulation, right? You crash if you don't eat every 2 hours. It can show up as insulin resistance. Your body doesn't respond to insulin properly anymore. This can show up as mitochondrial dysfunction. Your cells can't produce energy efficiently. And this can show up as difficulty using glucose or fat for fuel. And when your brain can't get the energy that it needs consistently, when your neurons are running on fumes, that can trigger a migraine. So when someone says you have metabolic migraines, they're saying your migraines are connected to an energy crisis in your body. And that's accurate, that's real. But here's where people get confused. It's not a separate type. People hear metabolic migraine and they think they've been given this diagnosis, right? They think, oh, I don't have hormonal migraines. I have the metabolic kind. My migraines aren't stress related. They're metabolic. Or pause. But here's where people get confused. It's not a separate type. People hear metabolic migraines and they think they've been given a diagnosis. They think, oh, I don't have hormonal migraines. I have the metabolic kind. My migraines aren't stress related. They're metabolic. Or I need a metabolic protocol, not a gut protocol. And suddenly you're segmenting yourself into this one category. You're following metabolic advice. You're taking metabolic supplements. You're doing blood sugar protocols. And you're ignoring everything else. But here's the truth. There's no such thing as a separate type of migraine based on triggers. Migraines don't work like that. They're not like types of cancer where you have breast cancer or lung cancer or skin cancer. Completely different diseases that need completely different treatments, right? Migraines all share the same root cause, chronic systemic inflammation. And what varies from person to person is which inflammation pathway is most active for you. It's all connected. All right, while that's sinking in, let me explain. When we talk about metabolic migraines, we're really talking about one piece of the inflammation puzzle. Your metabolism is inflamed. Your cells are struggling. Your energy production is broken. But that didn't happen in isolation. Here's what's actually going on. Your gut's inflamed, so you're not absorbing nutrients properly. So your cells can't make energy. Metabolic dysfunction. Your hormones are out of balance. Cortisol's high. Insulin's wonky. Hormones regulate metabolism. Metabolic dysfunction. Your nervous system is stuck in fight or flight. Your body's in survival mode. Non-essential functions shut down, like efficient digestion and energy production. Metabolic dysfunction. Your liver is overwhelmed with toxins. It can't regulate blood sugar properly. Metabolic dysfunction. It's all connected. Your metabolism didn't just break on its own. It broke because everything else was inflamed first. So here's where this gets a little bit messy. When you label yourself as having metabolic migraines and you focus only on that piece, you miss the other inflammation pathways that are driving it. You're over here doing blood sugar protocols and taking, mitochondrial supplements. And yes, that might help a little, right? You start seeing it help and you're like, oh my God, this is it. This is so cool. I figured it out. It starts reducing some symptoms. You start feeling better. But if you're not addressing the gut inflammation that's preventing nutrient absorption, if you're not addressing the hormone imbalances that are dysregulating your metabolism, or the nervous system dysfunction that's keeping your body in survival mode, or the toxic burden that's overwhelming your liver, then you're actually not healing the root cause. You are managing one piece of the puzzle while the rest of the picture stays inflamed. So here is what I see happening. Someone gets told, you have metabolic migraines. So they start eating every 2 hours to keep blood sugar stable. They take a bunch of metabolic and mitochondrial supplements. Maybe they go keto or low carb. They start focusing obsessively on glucose monitoring and every single thing they put in their mouth. And they feel a little bit better, maybe 20%, but they're still getting migraines. They're still struggling. They're still not free. And you know why? Because they're treating the metabolic piece in isolation. They're not asking, what caused my metabolism to break down in the first place? They're not addressing the gut that's been inflamed for 10 years, the hormones that crashed during perimenopause, the nervous system that's been stuck in fight or flight since that traumatic event 5 years ago, or the toxic load from years of medication and environmental exposures. They are treating a symptom of this bigger problem. So here's what I need you to understand. Whether your migraines are triggered by hormones, stress, food, weather, or metabolic dysfunction, they all have the same root cause: chronic systemic inflammation. The only difference is which pathway is most inflamed for you. For some women, it's the hormonal pathway. For some, it's the gut. For some, it's metabolic. For most, it is all of them at once. Your hormones are a mess. Your gut is leaky. Your metabolism is broken and your nervous system is fried. And you can't just pick one piece to fix and expect the whole thing to heal. So if metabolic migraine isn't a separate type and you can't just treat metabolism in isolation, then what do? You address all the inflammation pathways at once. And here's what that looks like in the Freedom from Migraine method. We go into phase 1 and remove the inflammatory inducers. We remove what's actively inflaming your body: inflammatory foods, toxins in your environment and products, medications that are creating more inflammation, and inflammatory lifestyle habits. This takes the pressure off of all of the systems, including your metabolism. Then we look at phase 2, where we heal those chronic drivers. We address what's been driving inflammation for years. Gut healing, so that you can actually absorb nutrients, stop creating inflammation every time you eat, and support your metabolism. We address hormone imbalance, because hormones regulate metabolism. You can't fix metabolic dysfunction without balancing hormones. The nervous system regulation, so your body can get out of this survival mode and actually heal. When you're stuck in fight or flight, your metabolism cannot work properly. And then autoimmunity at present, because autoimmune inflammation affects everything, including metabolism. And then if needed, we go to phase 3, which address genetic switches. We look at your unique genetic predisposition and support your body's specific needs. And when you do that, your metabolism heals, not just because you took metabolic supplements, not because you focused only on blood sugar, but because you removed the inflammation that was breaking your metabolism in the first place. So here is what I want you to take away from all of this. Metabolic migraine is not a diagnosis. It is a description of one piece of the puzzle. It tells you that, metabolism is involved, and that's good to know. But it doesn't mean you have a different type of migraine, that needs a completely different approach. You have chronic systemic inflammation, just like every other woman with migraines. The only difference is which pathways are most inflamed for you. And the solution isn't to segment yourself into a category and treat that one piece. The solution is to address all the inflammation pathways at once because it's all connected. Your gut affects your hormones affect your metabolism affects your nervous system affects your gut. You can't just fix one without addressing the other. So you got to stop chasing labels. Here is my challenge to you. You just have to stop. Stop trying to figure out which type of migraine you have. Stop segmenting yourself into categories: metabolic, hormonal, stress-induced, food triggers. And start asking, what's inflamed and what caused it? Because that's where the healing happens. Not in the label, not in the category, in addressing the root cause inflammation that's driving all of it. So if you are tired of treating one piece at a time and you're ready to actually address the whole big picture, if you're done with the labels and you want to heal what's actually broken, then get your free migraine breakthrough assessment. Let's look at your inflammation pathways, all of them, and figure out what needs to heal first. The link is right in show notes for you. All right, friends, that is what I have for you today. Just like chronification is a fancy word that made things feel permanent when they're not, metabolic migraine is a label that makes things feel separate when they're not. You don't have a type of migraine. You have chronic systemic inflammation. And the solution isn't to treat one pathway in isolation. The solution is to address all of them together. Your metabolism will heal when you heal the inflammation driving it. Stop chasing labels. Start healing the whole picture. You deserve to actually be free of migraines.